Welcome back to the How We Feel podcast. Today's guest is someone responsible for moments you've probably lived but never thought about how they actually happen. We're talking about the man behind the chaos and execution of some of the biggest rock festivals in the country through Danny Wimmer Presents. From massive stages to split-second decisions that can make and break an entire weekend. This is a side of live music that most people will never see. Welcome the head of all production for Danny Wimmer Presents Festivals, Zach Evans. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, guys.
Appreciate you being here, Zach. Means a lot, giving us your time,
me.
man. I know you're super fucking busy.
Always dealing with the chaos.
It's crazy. Yeah, we're gearing up. We have Welcome to Rockville and Sonic Temple on the menu right now. So
both good ones.
That's what you're working on currently, with those two?
Yeah. So we load in. I'll be in Daytona in 3 weeks. Start Rockville build, and then do that show. And Sonic is the weekend after. So, and then once we start those two, it's, you guys already know, but it's the rest of the year until October. It's nonstop. We kind of roll right into Inkcarceration, and then Bourbon, Louder, and Aftershock.
So I want to start at the beginning, Zach. Before working for these major festivals, what were you doing in the music industry?
So I started way back in 2007. Pretty much, I was in a signed band out of Ohio, actually, called A Graceful. We were on Sumerian Records. Nice. I think we were the third or fourth band on Sumerian.
Wow.
Sick.
And Chris Roeder was our singer. He sings in like Moths to Flames now. Before he was with us in A Graceful, he was the original singer for Emma Rosa.
Oh, okay.
Love them.
So left Emma Rosa, started A Graceful. I was part of the recording process with them, along with a few other guys. And basically ended up probably not being the right fit. So before the record was finished, before it went on tour, I had parted ways with the band. Chris kind of had a different vision, and ultimately I knew I wasn't the guy probably to be on stage anyways. So I was trying to look at another band to join, and I ended up moving back home to Denver, and working in venues out there for a promoter called Soda Jerk Presents. And it was kind of like volunteer work a little bit. It was like, hey, we don't know what we can pay you. But if you just like, I wouldn't leave. It's like, if you want to learn that bad, we'll make you count the merch in and count the merch out. And we'll give you a percentage of the merch split, and that'll be your pay every night. So I was like, all right, cool. So, I didn't know what I was going to make every day. It was like maybe $30, maybe $300. It just depended. But as things went on, it was like the monitor guy left for tours. So like I got to learn monitors and then stage manage. And it was just like a natural evolution. I'm lucky that I was young enough where I was kind of able to volunteer. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the same responsibilities in life that I have now.
Sure.
And then, yeah, man, I just, Denver was getting expensive. I was looking for a change of scenery, wanted to get out of the snow. A good buddy of mine named Scott Hall was on tour with Ann Berlin as their drum tech. And we were just catching up. And he's like, I bet you I could get you a stage managing spot at House of Blues in Orlando. And I was like, all right, cool. So like he did. And then I moved to Orlando, worked at House of Blues. Didn't get enough hours for what I needed to pay my bills. So I started working at Hard Rock Live, which is like a 3,000 cap venue at Universal City Walk. And I was there for probably a year, maybe a year and a half. And that production manager left. And ultimately ended up getting promoted into the production manager role there. It just kind of lots of right place, right time. And then year after getting that, there's a festival that's been going on in Orlando for 30-something years called WJR's Earth Day Birthday. That's where I first met Chris, actually.
Yeah.
I think you were working with one of the bands there. And then, I got into the festival thing through iHeart. And
nice.
I thought I knew a lot about it, and it turned out I didn't. I totally kind of blew that first festival completely. But I cared a lot, and I was very lucky. The headliner was Shinedown, and their production manager could have hammered me into the ground, man. Like from the fan-facing side, I didn't blow it. From the band-facing side, I totally blew it. And it was just, you don't know what you don't know. And he had a lot of good advice and grace and mercy. And I was so embarrassed by, all the things I'd sort of didn't know that I just dove right in and kind of got obsessed. And then, just stayed at Hard Rock, picked up a bunch of kind of freelancing stuff. I was a production manager for Live Nation around Central Florida and did some stuff with AEG, and COVID hit, and kind of connected with some of the DWP folks during COVID, and then just been with them ever since.
What did you originally start out doing with DWP? Was it just straight into production, head of production? What was...
No, so it's funny, man. I have zero hospitality experience, and I stay as far away from hospitality stuff as possible. Because, like, anything on stage production-wise, I'm pretty confident I spend all of my time learning about this and trying to figure out how to do this better. And, I feel very comfortable in that role. I stay as far away from hospitality and stuff like that as possible, because I'm like, it stresses me out that if Joe Schmo over here eats peanuts, he's going to die, and that could be my fault.
Right.
And so, but during COVID, a good friend of mine named Katil Gray, she had a last minute call out when DWP shows were coming back. And it was like, hey, my number 2 just bailed on me. Can you jump in on this DWP season? Starts in 2 weeks. Like, we're on site in 2 weeks.
Jesus. Wow.
And she knew I knew nothing about hospitality, that I didn't really care to learn about hospitality. But she's like, it's sort of an admin role. You'll have to do some hospitality. And I was like, yeah, sure. I guess, I'll try it. And then, so that first season I actually did hospitality. And then thankfully, when the director of production at the time found out I was there, and we have all these mutual friends, and he was like, dude, what the heck are you doing on that side? And I was like, you wouldn't call me back.
Still got it.
You're still in.
That led into production managing, and then eventually director of production.
That's neat hearing, though, that you've had Ohio ties for a really long time as well. Just so happened to be, connecting further like we have at Inkcarceration and we do each year now and stuff. But that's cool to know that you've always had that kind of Ohio roots, because we're huge on Ohio. We love it. So.
Yeah. I was in Dayton for a little while, and still have family in Dayton and stuff. But I love Ohio too. It's actually Sonic and Ink. I look forward to going just to be in Ohio.
That's awesome.
There's like so many like local spots and stuff, and just friends. I mean, honestly, a lot of the opportunities that I was given early was from the Miss May I guys.
Yeah.
And that kind of Rise Records Dayton scene. I grew up in that Dayton scene. I was kind of the older kid in that Dayton Rise Records scene. Like they were going to my band shows.
That's cool.
And then eventually they were opening up for my band, and they were always better than my band from day one. It was like, we knew these like little freshmen and sophomores in high school were going to make it. And we were like, we should probably find like a plan B, because these kids are good. And
there was
they're
a really
still
cool,
friends. Like,
there was a really cool scene at that time too. Like you said, Miss May. I mean, there's tons that came from around that area. But what was that? Attack.
Yeah, it was like Columbus, At the Throne of Judgment, Attack. Devil Wears Prada.
That's true.
Before Their Eyes, there was another band called Before Their Eyes that was. Yep. But everybody from on Rise Records, it seemed like, was coming out of that Dayton, Cincinnati, Columbus, probably, I mean, honestly, just Ohio in general, probably a lot of Cleveland bands too. Like Prada was the first one, and they kind of brought everybody with them, like Miss May I, Attack. Before Their Eyes, At the Throne of Judgment, Crimson Armada, I think, was on Rise. But that whole Ohio was like the spot. It was the hot spot for all of that metalcore, like it was all Ohio.
That's kick-ass. I love that.
Yeah.
So Danny Wimmer Presents is responsible for pretty much some of the biggest festivals in our country: Inkcarceration, Sonic Temple, Welcome to Rockville, Louder Than Life. Walk us through what your job looks like now, as far as like 30 days, 60 days out from a festival up to like 24 hours out from a festival.
Yeah. So once we try to send out the artist advances around 60 days out. Like that's our goal. We don't always hit it, but usually between 5 weeks and 60 days out, we send out the artist advances. Rockville's like around 160 bands, I believe, right now. Sonic's at like 150-ish because we added that fifth stage.
Wow.
So from the months of October to March, I'm basically trying to procure, source, design, all the production for the next year. And then once we hit March, we're kind of in the Rockville and Sonic Advance time frame. So right now, I mean, we always start with the headliners down. I've started to try to kind of build the lighting rigs around the needs of the headliners so that I don't have to do completely full overnights all the time. And also just be accommodating to the headliners. It kind of keeps us on our toes, and it changes the fan experience in a positive way. But, 30 days out, we're kind of in that that red zone. If you're putting I always use football analogies. So 30 days is kind of like doors are open at the football field. Like fans are kind of walking in, like players are on the field kind of warming up. Some of them are in their pads, some of them aren't, but you know what's about to come. I'd say, that once you get on site, which for us is about, 10 days before the show, you're in the locker room, coach is talking, you better know the game plan, you better know what's up. Yeah. And then that 24 hours, it's the coin has been flipped. You're, either receiving or kicking, but it's happening, whether you're ready or not, it's here. And yeah, so we're kind of in that. We're sort of in that, doors are open, players are on the field warming up, kind of getting ready. We do have an advantage, I think, because we do primarily all rock and metal on our festivals. Mm-hmm. So we know a lot of these guys really well. I get to work with 150 bands a show, and there's over 900 advances a year. But most of that is with people that I've established relationships and have gotten to know from the headliner PMs all the way down to some of the opening guys. Mm-hmm. And you get a lot of efficiency there because there's a trust factor both ways where it's hey, man, I know you. Yeah. And you need to follow through on your stuff. And same with us. It's they know what to expect coming into a DWP show and what's going to be provided, how it's going to look, what it's going to feel like. And so you're able to kind of cut directly to the chase. And instead of do a full 1-2 hour advance for each band, it's, hey man, as long as this is the same as usual, I just need to make sure I have an extra riser for the keys and I have this and this. Right, and you're done, cool. Easy. And you get to move on to the next one. Yeah, so it helps. We're kind of, some of those other festivals like C3 and Golden Voice that have Lala and ACL, they probably never see the same bands. It's they have everything from country to pop to alternative. So they have to establish that with every artist. We don't have to do that. If we don't see the same band year to year, it's the same production crews. They jump from this band to this band, so it's and that makes it more fun too, I think, because you just get to see your friends all weekend. True. So yeah.
I've been to obviously our relationship at Inkcarceration is one thing, but even going to Sonic Temple, I've been to a few times. It's always just a good family vibe. Everyone's always just seeing your
Definitely
friends,
is.
We try, man, and it's getting even more so than I think it used to be. Now that a little bit, we've all kind of settled in a little bit.
Yeah.
It's less prove it now, and it's more hey, maintain it. You've proved it, just maintain it. It's okay to chill out. It's okay to be cool. It's like, so I think hopefully we're doing better at that part. And it's kind of a bummer, man. I mean, I'm losing Adam this year. He's been our main stage manager for a lot of years.
Oh, wow.
He's PMing Turnstile now. So I had a production manager, Miles. He just got a big promotion and ended up going over to Insomniac. So, I think that for us, that's good. Like, I want everybody that works with us to grow and to have like some sort of a trajectory where they're able to kind of grow and move on and step up, because you're still in the family. It's like, so it's
really
good to
cool.
see. So we'll have some fresh faces out there with us this year, but
Yeah.
that's good, man. I mean, it's like if people are able to leave what we're doing and step up into something bigger, in a better role for them, then I feel encouraged that we're doing something right. Like, we're teaching them, they're learning something, but also like
Absolutely.
they have the confidence to jump into those roles. And so you're like, all right, man, let's get it. I mean, like Adam getting Turnstile, they're huge. Like, that's crazy. So it's just kind of one of those where I'm like, oh man. But yeah, so I think, that's sort of the DWP family right now. It's been together for a minute, but that's the part that's got me kind of bummed out this year. Is I'm like, I'm losing all my peeps. They're all growing up, but that just means we get new blood in there, and we get to kind of teach new people. So I love that.
Yeah, it's always fun and exciting. And like you said, they're all always a part of the family too, as they continue to grow and do things, which is really nice.
Yeah, everybody there has always been really cool to us over the years.
Yeah, great to work with.
Yeah, it's fun to have you guys, man. It was really cool, I think, for me to, see you guys on the festival at Ink last year, because, knowing Chris for so many years, and then just seeing like kind of the blood, sweat, and tears you guys have put into that festival for you guys to get to perform at it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, that's, and the music's great. So it's like, oh, this is badass. Like,
Thank you.
Thanks,
I love
man.
to see things come full circle. And,
Yeah.
I think you guys are just getting started for sure.
Thanks, man. It means a lot. It was was definitely a full circle moment for us to go from stage managing it, which also
Yeah, it was.
it was like a dream.
Yeah.
Also, like, I love that. It was always so fun
Yeah.
to just, because it's not the daily for me, so it's nice to get outside the box for the normal and
Yeah, for sure.
do that
Yeah,
side of
yeah.
it again. So it was always awesome, but it was such a full circle moment to come back
Yeah,
around
it
and now
was.
play that fucker, because
It felt like a
every
movie.
year working it,
Yeah.
we're loading the bands in and out, doing that whole thing, and I'm thinking, man, I want to play this. Man, I just want to play this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to play
Well,
this.
it's funny
So to
'cause-
do it was amazing.
Yeah, Chris and I had a conversation last year going into the show, and he was kind of like, we were talking about you guys working it and
Yeah.
stuff again, and I was like, to be honest, man, like, you guys get the opportunity to play this. Like, I mean, I don't want to take work away, but like, I want you guys to be able to like be bands this weekend, like,
Yeah.
Enjoy
go to the
it.
media lounge, hang out, like, be an artist and not have to like get off stage and then, freshen up in 15 minutes and then start going
Hauling
right into
gear.
stage manager mode. And
Yeah.
it was so cool to see you guys, as I'm walking around with everything on fire backstage, see you guys in the media lounge. I was like, oh, dude, that's cool. That's why we all do this, is we all have, there's all a reason for that we want to continue being in the music industry. So to see you guys get to be performers on the show and enjoy the weekend in the media lounge, like, well deserved. I think for me, that stuff is always just cool to see. It kind of encourages me to stay on my path.
Yeah, it was awesome. Felt like a real rock star that whole weekend.
It was so much
Yeah,
fun.
that's cool.
and-
Yeah.
Interviews in the media lounge to golf cart rides to our green room after
that's
after we play. I'm
Yeah,
like, man,
yeah.
does it get any
Yeah.
better? Really?
Right. It was so much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
What's one thing you think fans would be shocked to learn about what goes on behind the scenes to put the show together?
I think that, and it's kind of our job in production, right? Just like you guys know, to make on the fly decisions and fix things. I think a lot of fans would be surprised how much shit doesn't work work throughout the day that we're troubleshooting and trying to figure out, luckily you put enough aces in places, you're able to kind of fake it till you make it while things are broken and they're not working. But there's always somebody back there somewhere trying to figure out why we're not picking up this camera feed, or like why this delay audio over here. It sounds fine to the naked ear, but we know it's not kicking like it's supposed to. What's going on? Like, is it a power issue? Is it a signal issue? Like, and I think that I hope that people don't notice that stuff. That's the goal. But like all day, every day, we're just troubleshooting everything from a broken pedal board to, why is the sound dropping out here? And I think that's like the exciting part of working in production also is, feeling accomplished when you pull that stuff off. Absolutely. And sometimes you don't. And we've had shows where it's like you walk away kind of hanging your head because you're like, we didn't figure that one out. And everybody had absolutely noticed.
Just one of those.
What's one of the biggest logistical nightmares that you've had to solve in real time, like during it?
So this is a funny one. It was Bourbon Beyond 2023 in Louisville. And Les was still our director of production, and we're sitting in the production office. Jason Isbell was direct support to Chris Stapleton. And Jason Isbell's production manager walks in, and he just looks flushed. You know somebody's like body language, even if you don't know them, you know?
You can just tell.
And he's like, hey, so you might have a problem. And we're like, all right, what's going on? And he's like, the bus missed the exit. There's no quick turnaround to get there. Jason's supposed to be on stage in about 15, 20 minutes. Ooh. And the traffic pattern getting into the show is telling us, our driver is saying that the GPS is saying 50 minutes. And we're all like, fuck. Like, that's
the set time.
It's a Friday. Yeah, this show, people sometimes, a lot of times we get that traffic jam kind of between the 3 and 6 hour because people are getting off work for the day. They're trying to go to the festival. Mm-hmm. And he's like right at this, like, a peak of traffic coming in. And so we're like, can you tell us where he's at? And the driver's all like, I don't know, man. I mean, I see a Denny's. And we're like, hold on. Stop at Denny's. Pull over at Denny's. We know exactly what Denny's you're talking about. We send 3 police, like, buzzing down the road to go get this bus and get it to us in time with traffic. So they catch the bus. They're splitting the lanes, like they're parting the Red Sea. You just like hear the sirens. Wow. You just see cars like moving to the side and this bus going. Jason's supposed to be on stage in like 2 minutes. The bus finally comes through the gate. We park him right up next to the stage stairs. The guitar tech's down there with the guitar. The monitor engineer's down there with his in-ears. Literally just roll the police escort right to the stairs. Jason gets off the bus. Guitar tech throws the guitar on him. Monitor engineer gives him the in-ears. Just walks up the stairs, rings the guitar.
Wow.
Gets on stage right on time. Like,
that is
it was such a rock star entrance that it was like, oh my gosh, man. Not one that I know that we could recreate in the same way, but
to ever pull that off is so insane. That's a great story. That's really neat.
Yeah, it was cool to witness because you're like, oh man, like all of our hearts are pounding, and there's a little bit of chant from the crowd, just people excited for him to go on. And, we're 5 minutes out from the set, 4 minutes out from the set, 3 minutes out from the set. We don't see him. We don't hear him. There's no sign of him. And then you just hear the sirens, and then you just see this bus kind of parting the Red Sea and pulls right out and gets off the bus and goes on stage.
Yeah, that's
was
crazy
cool.
shit.
Yeah.
Really cool one.
With so many things going wrong at any given moment, how do you stay calm? How do you not pull your fucking hair out all day?
I think, so I pulled it all out already from all of the many years of stressing. And then eventually I think you see almost all of these scenarios before. So you're able to kind of not panic in the same way as other people, just based on, getting so much experience. The festivals are awesome for that because you're doing 900 performances a year. So you really do get to see so many different things throughout a weekend. I used to stress. I used to get, kind of hot-headed. You guys know me, but for anybody watching, I'm only 5'7", so it just looks silly probably when I get angry anyways. So it's like, at a certain point, I kind of just tried to learn how to take a breath, and anger wasn't managing people in an effective way to begin with. So I just had to learn how to communicate better and just basically say, all right, guys, this isn't going as planned. We want to, this is what we're trying to accomplish. We need to accomplish it by this time. And you got to just sort of give that responsibility to people and help them. But I melt on the inside. I try not to melt on the outside.
To show
inside, I'm panicked and stressed. Yeah.
No, it's similar kind of like management too. It's almost like you've dealt with everything. You've seen everything over the years to where, breakdowns to fights to whatever you could name and stuff. To those first few times, it's like, fuck, or whatever. But after that, you're almost kind of, hate to say numb, but you're just like, another day, whatever comes.
Yeah.
Just,
it'll be okay, guys.
Here we go.
Just
Just keep going.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. So totally relatable.
We're going to change a few things up. Not the end of the world. It's going to be fine. It's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny.
Have you ever had to tell a major artist no on a production side of things that they just wanted, they were demanding or something like that, and you just had to go, no, it's not fucking possible. and how'd that go?
So being in my role, I kind of have to do that every day. And it was really hard at first. Until I kind of changed my approach and told them why it was no, because they don't like getting no, just like most people don't like getting no. Sure. So I'd have to tell them I have to push back on this because of A, B, and C, and those affect the rest of the day in this way. And that's going to do this and this. And then at least they're able to counter me with another offer on well, if I meet you in the middle and I strike this, but we do this, how does that play out? And you're like, I could probably make that work given A, B, and C. So almost turn it into more of a negotiation than a hard no. But yeah, I've given some hard no's, and I won't mention the band, but I did get a guy that swung on me once.
No way.
And I was like, dude, same thing. I'm 5'7". That thing's gonna rock my world.
Oh, man. No, that's
luckily it was over
too.
my head, but yeah. That was probably about the moment I was like, I should change my approach so I don't get punched in the face.
That's a wild one.
What's interesting question I had written here. What's the most pressure-filled decision that you've ever had to make in under 10 minutes on the fly? Where you were just like, man. Fuck, what do I do? How do okay, this is on me.
Yeah.
What's
so
it
this
gonna
is
be?
It's interesting because it actually is very applicable. It was at Rockville last year. We had a major headliner. Everybody in the world knows this name, the band's name. They start their set with a 10-minute countdown clock. So just like normal, we started with a 10-minute countdown clock. And at that moment, we saw that we weren't getting any of the camera feeds that we needed to. And the whole show is really choreographed around the videography of everything. And so at that point, you feel like you have a ticking time bomb, literally, because you have a countdown on the screens. You have everybody at the festival watching this countdown. And we're in Video Village just like, holy fuck.
Wires everywhere.
What? Yeah, literally, it's like, what do we do? And so, everybody's throwing out suggestions like, pull all the cables, start the patch over, make sure it's 1-to-1. But you feel like you're deconstructing a bomb or something at that point because everything's live on the screen. So you're like, you want me to do what with what? And, it's basically, We got there. It wasn't the full intended show as far as the cameras went. But we were able to get, I think it was like 6 of the 8 cameras where they were supposed to be working into the console. So it was like, but yeah, it was terrifying. And it got so far as to every boss that was on site, whether it was my bosses or the band bosses or whoever, is sitting outside here.
Wow.
And you're kind of like, hey guys, unless you guys are willing to jump in and fix this with us, I just need a little bit of space. I fully understand the magnitude of the situation. Unless you guys want to start running cables and patching with me,
Get out of the way.
we just need a few
Fuck
minutes.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it was definitely one where probably the most panicked moment I had all year last year. Because I mean, literally, it was during a 10-minute countdown clock. So it was.
It has to happen. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you're like, holy shit, man.
Did you guys get it fixed? And what was the clock at?
So the countdown luckily turned into, I think, like a stinger video, like a 2-minute intro video.
Gave some
which
extra.
bought us an extra 2 minutes.
Okay.
And when it came up, I think we had 3 to 4 of the cameras where they were supposed to be in the switcher. And then
good.
by the third song, so about another 6-7 minutes later, we pretty much had all the cameras that needed to be there where they were supposed to be. But it's stressful during each song while you're kind of like I said, you feel like you're hot wiring something, like trying to get this working in real time.
Unplug this, does everything turn off?
Right, the 2 side screens are out.
Exactly. So that was that was stressful. But that's aside from that, there's a lot of like kind of band-aids you have to put. If you're in that 10-minute window, it's like, all right, whether it's swapping a cable out real fast or it's, I don't know why your console took a shit on you. Like, let's hurry
Switch
up, drop
out.
that into a USB drive, put it on my console, and we're just going to have to wing this set.
Right.
First few songs are going to be on the house console while we're actively trying to fix the talent console. And so you're always kind of troubleshooting things like that.
It's intense.
Yeah, that's always stressful. So we talked a lot about the stressful stuff. What's one of the good moments that just made you realize at a festival and just reminded you why you chose this and this is why I do? Like one of those like happy, everything went good moments.
I feel like there's almost like a moment at each show that stands out, like Sleep Token at Louder was great to see. That was there was a lot of challenges on that one for us. Their production manager is a good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. We were able to, overcome a lot of challenges. It wasn't really built for a festival, right? It's like this crazy 40-foot tall, 40-foot wide, 40-foot deep, rock castle thing that they're on.
It was insane.
And so, trying to get that into a festival setting is super challenging, but that was cool. Probably, oh man. I mean, to be honest with you, anytime we have Limp Bizkit on the shows, you get that moment of accomplishment because you just see they're such cool guys. The way that they kind of can own an audience, like they have everybody's attention.
Is insane when they play.
And so it's like, when you look out and you can see that, or, it could be other bands too, but they're one where like the crowd just goes absolutely bananas no matter what. Like the whole set is bonkers. Mm-hmm. So I think, anytime you get to hear the audience reception, we're not on stage performing, but we're backstage. So we still hear it as if we're on stage.
Yeah.
All the voices are screaming at you, you're not in the audience. When you hear that applause and you hear that, there's that sense of accomplishment of like, oh, we did something good. This is working. Okay, cool.
30,000 people all singing the same lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
But when something's not going right and there's, 30, 50,000 people silent as crickets,
Whew.
you get the
That's
opposite
pressure.
reaction.
Yeah.
The
That's
panic
pressure.
really starts settling.
I could only imagine.
So, yeah.
What's the closest a festival has been to getting completely shut down mid-show?
For us, probably Louder 2 years ago. So we got the first day off, and then Hurricane, I can't remember. I want to say Irene. I don't know if that's true. Blew up through somewhere. Maybe it was Carolina. Somehow we caught a weather band in Louisville.
Ooh.
And it was ugly. Like, it ripped up some of the roof skin on the main stage. We were
Destroyed
loading
the
in Slayer
grounds.
overnight. Had to stop the Slayer load in, and it was just like, yikes. It's not hurricane weather in Louisville like you're getting on the coast, but that band was still very powerful. And I remember, we paused everything for safety, sent everybody home, resumed the next morning. And I remember walking around with some of the executive team and with Danny and just looking, and there was some fence blown down, just kind of stuff you would expect. And we were kind of looking at the decision of like, how do we continue this weekend, like safely for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think we had to cancel that whole Slayer day.
think
I
I
remember
remember
Korn
that.
was the headliner on Sunday. So we took the whole day, brought in a shit ton of mulch and other things to absorb any of the water and puddles. And we were just pumping water 24 hours,
Wow.
mopping everything. Stage line, it was their stage. They actually took that part of the roof that had ripped, and they stitched it like with rope and with grommets, so
Holy
that
shit.
it was
Wow.
everybody kind of pulled together to like make the rest of the weekend happen. And we're kind of like, I don't know, like, let's see what people think. And they just went nuts, man. It was so cool. Like,
Yeah.
any little bit of mud pit that was left turned into a pool party. It was more of like a highlight than it was anything else. And Korn got on stage and just tore it up like they always do. And it was like,
Yeah.
it's usually weather related when we're looking at canceling a show. And for us, I think just Danny and the team having so much experience with festivals over the years, we have a lot of plans in place to try and hold the weekend together. I mean, even the day, I think you guys performed on the rain day last year, right? At Ink?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It rained definitely
was
a lot.
muddy back there.
One of the days. Was it our day?
I think so. And they were doing obviously cleanup best they could for everything. But yeah, back behind that stage was a rough one, I remember.
That's right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so
I remember
like-
watching Marilyn Manson and Slipknot and just in pouring down.
Yeah,
rain,
it poured.
whatever
I
day that
remember
was.
for
Oh,
Slipknot's
yeah,
whole set.
yeah.
That was kind of memorable.
That's
for
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, the iMag cameras looked cool when you're watching Slipknot, and it's all like just a sheet of rain in front of
It
them.
was
Yeah.
fucking sick.
Yeah. But yeah, that was probably the closest in my time here to canceling a festival that, I was really just blown away by how the team came together and actually got the weekend through.
Yeah, weather is probably one of the most difficult things to overcome, I'd imagine, for you guys, because it's just one of those variables that you can't change.
So unpredictable.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I remember another
Yeah.
year at Inkcarceration was a lot of rain, and everybody had to like go inside of the prison and take shelter for a while.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
like
I
at
remember
every
that
other
too.
like at every other year thing. It seems like it's cursed to get hit with some rain at Inkfest or something like that, roughly, give or
Yeah.
take. So
Yeah. Hopefully that means this is a totally sunny and hot summer day
I'm hoping so.
since
Yeah,
we got the rain
Oh,
last
God.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Ink again this year. What's
The
something?
lineup is really good.
Oh, my God.
And we have some cool, like, special things that I can't disclose planned for that weekend that we've never done before that's going to be pretty epic.
that's awesome.
When
That's
is
exciting.
that? Is that like a surprise for the fans that will be announced at a date, or just
There's
when you
no
show
announce. You're going to see it in real time.
Oh,
It's
wow.
going to be, it's going to be cool.
Nice. Looking forward to that.
So
What's something artists do that just drive production teams crazy?
oh man, it's there's a few things, honestly. Like it's just stuff for me, it's stuff where it's like, you know, complaining about like the PA or the stuff on stage when they start calling out production stuff on stage.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's warranted, but most of the time it's like, you're like, hey man, you know, leave your monitor guy alone or find a more effective way to communicate with him. You know, like I've seen everything from like mics thrown at monitor guys to artists just ripping their in-ears off and walking off stage and then realizing that they have to come back on 5 minutes later and pretend like they didn't just do that.
They didn't just freak out.
Then you look goofy. Yeah. Everybody's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So it's like,
funny.
you know, it's that stuff. I will say, man, I feel like a lot of artists, to probably people's surprise, when they're off stage and on stage, obviously, do have like a sense of professionalism around production and their crews, because I think they kind of understand that a lot of their fate is in production's hands. You know, like you're trusting these guys to make the lights look good, to make the video work, to make the sound good. So I feel like for the most part, you know, it's pretty, it gets translated to us in a pretty like effective way. But the biggest thing I would say is whenever, you know, they are complaining about things on stage instead of rolling with it, you know?
Yeah.
It's always funny unless you're the lighting guy. It's not good, but like I love whenever the lighting guys get called out by the artist because the light's in their face. You know, that happens a lot.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Especially on some of the smaller stages, like artists try and roll with it, and instead of like give the LD some like soft cues on like, hey man, these lights are a little bright or something, you think you could dim these or whatever, you know, they wait until they're at their boiling point and you don't know why, but they're just like smashing the guitar and like legit throwing a fit, and then they get off stage, their production manager doesn't know why, I don't know why, we're trying to figure it out, and he's like, the lights are blinding me, and it's like, well dude,
Just communicate.
Like, yeah.
Maybe let us know.
That's so fun. I can totally picture that happening though. Depends on the day, time and place of the people, I'm sure. But yeah, I could picture that.
Yeah. So that's
shit.
always, you know, it's stuff like that usually. But I mean, most of them are really cool. And, you know, I think that's what I love about the rock and metal artists is by nature, it's kind of very blue collar ish. You know, a lot of them are kind of blue collar feeling and minded. So, I feel like they kind of gel well with the production crews in general, like the artists do. It's kind of like, like, you know, you're not an artist, but you're one of us. Like, we're just, you know, a bunch of dudes and chicks just doing our job, just hanging out. Like, I feel like other genres probably get hit with heavier egos than we do.
I've said before too, but rock and metal, even though it is a big industry or world, but it is kind of a small thing. Like you said, though, it becomes like a family working with all these people for so long. You get to kind of know them or how each one ticks a little bit or, you know, catch up, see them a time or two per year or whatever. And it's like everybody's cousins or something, you know, like a big extended family in some way or something.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's true. We don't have a lot of like divas in rock and metal that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, honestly, the artists that I don't know what I've done to this guy, but he hates my guts. Every show I've ever worked with him is Flo Rida.
Really? Wow.
Like that guy just wants to squash me. There's some sort of like difference in personality there. Yeah, there's like a difference in personality there somehow that everything I say or do around that guy, he just doesn't like me.
Just gets
and
pissed.
I'm not trying to like be anything. And he makes it very clear. He, like,
one of those, yeah.
Doesn't like me.
That's random.
Not to my face, because it's like talking to somebody in the crew. Like,
yeah.
What's this guy saying? And I'm standing right there, you know, and you're like, all right, man, like I'm not looking for trouble, but
Jeez.
No, I mean, aside from, you know, honestly, I mean, for the rock and metal stuff, there's not really anybody that stands out to me with some sort of, you know, major ego, at least that I have to deal with on a regular basis.
That's good.
What's
Yeah.
one artist that you look forward to seeing every year when you go out, not for working with them or the business side of it, but just for the art? Like one band you look forward to hearing.
There's a handful that just do what they do so well. Like Gojira is one of those. They're always so tight, and like, they get into it so much. Like you could just see like their love for it. Korn always puts on a great show. Slipknot, of course.
Yeah,
Like,
both do.
yeah, Bad Omens. Actually, like Good Charlotte. We've had them recently on the shows, and their live show just like crushes it. Like,
That's cool.
Pierce the Veil is a good one. You know, I think it's fun to see bands like Pierce the Veil right now that were not in the same place that they are currently 5 years ago. And so you still kind of feed off of their excitement to be in these headliner positions. And they put on such a great show.
They rip.
Limp
I love
Bizkit,
Pierce
like
the
I
Veil
said, is
live.
always
Yeah, they are really good.
yeah. Dude, yeah, Limp's such a good one. Day to Remember is like you feel like you know the guys and you're part of like their family or their little posse.
Yeah.
At a Day to Remember show. They're so good at like it's the toilet paper gag. It's the all the confetti and the pyro. Like they just put on such a performance and they're so like sincerely engaged with their fans.
Yeah.
That I think if you saw them for the first time, you're obsessed, because you feel like you're part of it, like that, and they mean it, like they're intentional. So there's a big group, a handful. I could keep going on of bands that just do such a good live performance, and it's so sincere and like genuine. And I think most of them try, but there's a few that just have really figured out how to like nail it. So those are probably, just because we're working on Rockville and Sonic stuff, those are some that stand out in my head for sure.
For me, I'd say Shinedown, man. When I saw Shinedown for the first time live at Inkcarceration Festival, actually, was it 2 years ago? I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Man, I have never been more blown away from a live band's performance, from overall tightness to connection with the crowd to everything Shinedown does, man. Those dudes kill it. And it was at one of your festivals that...
Yeah, that's cool. And we do a lot of Shinedown, and I think that's, they're, like I said, man, that production manager, he kind of could have made or break my career based on how he treated me that first festival when I blew it for him. You know what I mean? And because he was so kind and gracious, kind of like the guys in Shinedown are, like on stage, he decided to be like, take this as a learning lesson. And, you got to do this and this and this moving forward. And I was like a 26-year-old kid at that time.
Yeah.
Like I did the best I could for what I knew. I just didn't know a lot. And instead of him squashing me and being like, I didn't walk away with, oh, I'm never going to touch a festival again. I'm getting out of production. That was the worst, most embarrassing experience. I walked away being like, I want to do better. I want to be better. Like, I think Shinedown is definitely one of those legacy bands in our lifetime that truly does it because they love doing it. And you see that even down to the production crew. Like Charlie, their PM, I think I don't know. I mean, I think he's been there at least since 2010, if not earlier.
Nice.
Which is pretty wild to get that long of a career with any artist.
That's true.
Yeah. You can tell probably with their whole crew have been there a while because they are just so flawless. The execution, you could tell.
They don't always do it. Most of the time they do like a pyro show to that song Devil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
they were shooting fireworks off scissor lifts at Ink.
Yeah, the way it's choreographed is so sick.
Insane.
Like they have every hit down. It's so good. Yeah.
Wow. That's neat.
Dude.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah, it blew me away. I had never saw them live before. I knew the songs. Always liked the songs. Never saw them live, but seeing them live was a different animal. It was insane.
It's good. Yeah, well, they'll be at Sonic, man. We'll see you guys there.
Yeah,
Nice.
we'll have to come down at least for one of the days minimum, maybe to see Shinedown actually.
Yeah. Yeah, they're Friday night.
I know what I was going to ask about your band that you mentioned. I didn't catch. What did you do in the band? What
I wanted to ask
what
that as well.
instrument, or were you the vocalist, or what did you do in your group?
So I was the guitar player.
That's cool.
Before that, I was in a different band in Dayton. Same guys minus Chris, and I was the vocalist.
Nice.
And dude, it was atrocious. Like I look back and I'm like, man, I hope that nobody has any recordings of this. There's like, I don't think anybody does. There was not a lot to record, but I go back and listen to it and I sound like a cat that was stepped on or something. Like it's so bad, dude.
It was fun first demos.
It was a screamo band and it was just like, I didn't know what I was doing, and it's very clear when you listen to it. Like this kid's just blowing his vocal cords out. But then Chris wanted to come back and join the band, so I moved to guitars, and he took over vocals. And
That's cool.
Obviously, Chris Roeder is a great vocalist. Like he still does it with like Moths to Flames. So
That's what you had said. Yeah, that's neat. No, it's so many people. It seems like that's a transition, or not always, but quite often from musicians to other sides of the business, other parts of the business. So I always like to get to know, where we like to get to know, like where do you come from? What did you start in bands or like all that kind of stuff? It's a neat story.
Yeah, we learned that with our past couple of guests. Dan Rosenblum, booking agent, used to be in a band.
yeah,
Chris
that's cool.
Z
Yeah, a bunch
used to be in a band. And like, damn, I didn't even know that part. It's always cool.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it gives you a love for it. Like you have a passion for it. And for me, like I don't do well with like spotlight attention on stage, Like I know I was awkward. I know I didn't have a good stage presence and that I was like, between songs, I'm sure I said the same thing every time between songs. I don't even want to pretend what that would be. Like, make some noise or something, and there's 27 people there, and they're all there to see the people after me.
Exactly.
But I was never comfortable on stage, and it wasn't until I found a role off stage that I was finally like, I like this. Like I prefer this actually. But it's fun making music. I still play guitar, just not often. Here and there, I'll pick up a guitar it feels good to strum a few chords every once in a while.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of the extent of it for me now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice. So one of the last things for me, just super random, was that Marty that I saw walking through the background there?
It was Marty. Yeah.
What?
Marty's office is right here.
Just because I saw him, I'm going to use this time to answer a question I've always wondered. I've ran into Marty so many times over the years at Inkcarceration, and he has always been the nicest fucking dude to me. We've ate at catering together a bunch of times. He's always been so cool, but I never knew, what does Marty actually do?
Yeah. So he's like our director of like venues. So what he does is a lot of like city planning stuff. So like we'll go in, for example, the reformatory is state property, I think, and county. I can't remember, but like he's the one that has to go meet with the people from the government to be like, hey, this is the plan, and we're actually going to tear up the grounds pretty bad, but we do have a plan to restore it. Like we're going to plant new grass when we're done. We're going to leave it better than we found it. Yeah. So a lot of those like, kind of government conversations, and like venue conversations. So like, the venue is like, yeah, cool, let's throw a show, and the government's like, or vice versa. The government might be like, hey, there's a lot of money that comes in from bringing these shows in, and venue's like, yeah, but like, have you heard these bands? And Marty has to be like, hey, we have a plan. Like, we're organized. This is going to go well. This is going to go well. Any of this stuff that gets affected, like we're going to replace it. We're going to make it better than we left it. If we tear down one tree, we're going to plant two more. Yeah. Like if we rip up the grass, we're going to jump in and help make sure that the grass is pretty for next year, and that, we're paving roads, and we're not just shredding stuff up and leaving it where so we can find it. So he deals with a lot of that stuff.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like the parks department stuff. Yeah.
That makes sense. You need a nice guy for that job.
Yeah.
Smooth it all over.
He is the nicest
trust
guy.
me, he's always been so nice. It's super cool. So tell him we say hi, and we'll see him again at Ink and Sonic.
Yeah, I will for sure. That's funny.
I think the last thing I can think of, which I know you won't be able to say, like, I guess for sure yes or no, but just came to my mind, random thought or question is, you guys have obviously festivals everywhere now that you work and stuff, but could there be a chance that there might be another sometime that could like pop up? Do you guys think I guess it might be a hard question to answer without giving a yes or no, but like, could there be more in the future, or do you think it's kind of where it's at for right now? There's plenty.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, man, I think so. There are plans, or at least ideas around expanding, like moving forward.
Yeah.
We've kind of had this like core for a while of Rockville, Sonic, Ink, Louder, Bourbon, and Aftershock.
Sure.
And, I think those all have a very solid foundation and solid fan base, and like, they're established festivals now. So I think we feel confident that we can start kind of trying to grow the portfolio. Like, hey, these are doing well. Like there's a strong foundation here. There's a strong fan base. There's a strong brand identity. So nothing is currently scheduled and planned, but we are looking at like, where do we do the next show and how do we do that? And I think, for us, it would probably be, and it's not my place to say anything, but I would assume it's probably going to be a 2-day, 2-stage festival, 2-day, 3-stage festival.
Sure.
If it does well, we add a day and add a stage until we get to that full-size model. Right. You know what I mean?
Understandably with that. But that's something that came to mind there, because I mean, when you reach that point too, I mean, there's room for growth still, obviously too, but it's managing and dealing with all the current situations as well is just, that's amazing too. It's inspiring to see that stuff.
Yeah, it already seems overwhelming between all the festivals having so many bands. It's getting to the point where each festival now has all the bands.
It's amazing lineups.
They're all on it.
Yeah. No, our talent team does a great job, and I think, I mean, for me, I'm trying to like find a good spot in Denver. Mm-hmm. And try and pitch that to Danny, because that's where I grew up. I want to be like, let's get a cool Colorado show. I mean, that's true. There's, a few bands from Colorado, not a ton, but enough. Yeah. And so we'll see. But I know that there is a few places that we're looking at right now and growing. And I think, we're just trying to find the best fit to where, like, which market is the thirstiest for rock and metal, and like, let there be rock. Let's bring them rock.
I love that. Yeah.
So I think we're kind of we're getting that kind of itch ourselves. I think on like, all right, let's do something somewhere.
That's neat.
Soon.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to seeing when that'll continue to come to life and eventually come public to the people. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, that's about it for us, Zach. If there's anything else you want to add or plug or tell anyone about?
No, man. I mean, looking forward to seeing you two soon.
Yeah,
just a few more weeks.
It's coming up.
Yeah, so it'll be good. And then if anybody lives close to the shows, like, hit them up. I mean, it's if you've been, you know what you're getting yourself into, and if you haven't, then get ready for the loudest, heaviest, hottest weekend you'll probably experience all year long.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to all the fun to come, and getting to hang in person and see everybody. It'll be great. So thank you again for taking the time and coming on and hanging with us too. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, dude. You rock. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
We'll
see you guys soon.
Talk to you.
Peace.
See ya.